Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Office Hours. I'm Rumesa, your host, and today we're excited to help you again tackle some of your questions and show you how to enhance your app development with Draftbit. We have Arvind with us, our expert engineer. Welcome, Arvind.
Thank you, Remesa, for having me here. Hey.
Yes, he'll be demonstrating solutions and providing some insights into your inquiries. Let's jump right in. I think the
Thank you.
first question was yours about multi-image picker. So you want to know how to use the multi-image picker in Draftbit? We have recently released that feature in the builder. So Arvin, can you walk us through how to set this up and share maybe any tips for making it work smoothly?
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm sharing my screen to showcase that with a quick demo. Uh, Let me know once you can see my screen. Is that visible?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
All right, so I've tried using this demo for explaining that use of multiple photo pickup. So the component is same. I have added this button, which is to add photos. And when we click on this button, we have the same action, which is open image picker. In that, if you see, we have this property now, which is multiple selection. By default, it's disabled, so we have to enable it in order to allow us to select multiple photos. So what we need to be careful about is when it's not enabled, it will return a single object. It will allow you to select just one photo and it will return a response, which is a single image, not any array. But when you enable it, it will return you array of image. So you have to keep a variable accordingly. So a variable type accordingly. For example, this variable photos I have defined, this is of type array. This is a string array so that we can store multiple selected images. I'll just showcase quickly. So I've clicked here, and as you can see, it's allowing me to select multiple photos. And as
We
I
cannot see the pop-up. Sorry,
oh,
I can see it now. Or have you
let me
selected?
let me share my complete screen. I think it was just sharing one window. Hmm. All right. Can you see my screen again?
Yes.
All right. So I'm clicking on add photo, and it's allowing me to select multiple photos. And when we are done, it will just return an array of images which we can store in our variable, and that can be used with list view or any other component in which you want to render it. So yeah, this is straightforward. The step one is we need to enable the multiple selection, and then we need to store the results in a variable which is defined as an array type.
Yes, that's straightforward.
That's very
I hope. Yes, Sean.
My question is specific to selecting a desired image or series of images to then delete. I've been able to get it to display in a slight variation of how you've demonstrated it, but I don't know how to now have the user provided the option to click on any one particular photo or two, etc., to then delete it.
Okay, so for that you'll have to maintain the delete status maybe, or you can manipulate the local copy of the photos result. So whenever you are clicking on an image, right now it's not clickable because I've just displayed it. We can add one more button which is kind of cross button with every image. When you click on that, it will just pass on that particular object or particular value of image, and we can use a small custom function to manipulate the photos array, and that will be re-rendering the results in the list view. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah. So for that, you'll require a small custom function.
For removing an item from
Yes.
an array, right?
Yes, because we are storing the results in the array, which is photos. So we have to create a function and we'll pass the clicked image value and we will just delete that particular object from that array and it will automatically render the result, the final result within this list view.
Yeah, it could be some kind of a simple function like filtering, right? I think we can provide some for Sean.
Sure,
Now,
we can have some function created after this meeting maybe, or I can share that with you.
okay, that would be great.
Yep,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you. Welcome, Linda.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. I'm brand new to Draftbit. Literally, I'm just starting to use it this week. So I have just kind of more some general questions about what you can do with Draftbit. If that's appropriate for this call or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, we can answer your specific questions regarding the builder. I guess
Okay.
Arvind is our expert engineer, and he can answer your questions. And but if you need more general sense of the builder, then I would also recommend you to book a product demo or a walkthrough that I can share a link with you later. But now that you're here, you can ask your questions to us.
So I'll share my screen and just kind of show you what the questions I have are.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So the starter apps that you provide, there's about maybe 10 or 12. Are there more than this list here? Can I get from like maybe a third party or so that's one question that I have. Are there more templates than this somewhere that I can have access to?
Right now, we just have those starter apps. Beside
Okay.
that, we have a good collection of single screen templates,
Screens,
which you
yeah.
can get example screens. But yeah, we are creating more starter apps, and we'll be adding that to collection soon.
Okay, because what I'm looking for is so my app is sort of a hybrid between like a dating app, right? Like where it's like matching you to somebody where you can where's the dating app? Yeah, First Sight.
Yep.
And like a listing app, kind of like this medical one here. However, one big question that I have is, and I'll just stop presenting. Actually, I realize it's not really useful right now. Is there technology in Draftbit that can match? So based on what someone has in their profile, let's say the dating app, right? And someone's searching for somebody, sort of similar to what they can type in with your medical listing app on that home screen, like what are you looking for? That can match a dating profile to what they're looking for, based on the dating profile's bio. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, so basically Draftbit is a platform where you can create your front end and we have ability to let you connect with your backend as well. So for that, you'll have to integrate your endpoints and add the logic in the Draftbit app you
I
are
see.
creating. So that is possible. Yes, we can do that.
And can AI algorithms then also be integrated then in that instance if we create that logic?
Yeah, you can bring that in, I guess, from the custom code, but right now we don't have any support on the builder
Yeah.
for AI.
Okay. I see. So then whatever we want to customize in terms of connecting the front end to the back end, and we can add that custom logic.
Yes, yes, we have that option in the draft.
I
Right.
see. That's okay. That's great. Um, Yeah, I mean, I just hopped on here to kind of get a sense of what even the office hours could do for me. And this is weekly?
This is bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly, okay.
You can submit your questions beforehand. We have a submission form, and experts are joining and troubleshooting and answering your questions live. So that's a quite good opportunity for you to get benefit from expert services. Yeah.
Great. Amazing. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for trying Draftbit and being here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Do you have any other specific questions?
No.
Okay.
Not today.
All right. Sean, do you have any specific questions to ask Arvind?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
I have a map marker with a specific icon to designate an appropriate point of interest, so to speak. But I also have a generic map marker that is showing a user's tap location. I'm finding that when I tap on the specific marker with the point of interest, that the two marker images are floating above each other, and I can't seem to have the Boolean value for the map marker turn off, or make the map marker essentially no longer visible.
So are you using multiple markers, or are you using any list view to render that? How are you using the multiple markers on your map view currently?
I only have two markers right now. One is, just a generic map marker that I created, but the other again is like another image that I'm using to, as a placeholder for a point of interest. But again, I'm trying to have the point of interest map marker no longer visible, or excuse me, in the opposite. I'm trying to just have the point of interest map marker image still visible, and the generic one no longer visible. I don't know if you got that.
Okay. So I think you want to show one marker at a time, right?
Exactly.
When you tap on any marker.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have a Boolean value, but for some reason it's not working as designed.
Okay. Yeah. So when you click on any marker, we have trigger actions like on press. You get control. In that, you can write your logic to hide the other marker. For example, you can take a variable like show my location, which is true by default, and it's showing both the marker. But when you are clicking on the point of interest marker, which is not your location, you get a trigger action, and you can just set that variable as false and use that variable for conditional display in your user location marker.
Are you suggesting a long press hold to get around the issue?
No, it will be just a tap. So you just tap on any marker, it gives you control, which is on trigger call action, and you can write your any logic there.
Okay.
Can we kind of demo this one, Arvind? Maybe we can use, user location and
sure.
At the same
Let me
time.
try that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen again.
It is visible.
Okay.
I do have one more question after you're done, actually.
Sure. So I've just added one map view and adding two markers. One is to show the user location, and second is maybe to show some restaurant. I'll just quickly get some coordinates, sample coordinates. So this is showing the user location, and let's add some other lat long for this. Or and we'll name it as restaurant itself. Yeah. So now what we want to do is when we click on a restaurant, it should not show the other marker, right? Okay, I'm taking a
Correct.
variable which is to show my location with Boolean value, and by default I'm setting it as true, so we are able to see both the markers. And I'm adding this variable for conditional display with my location marker. And for second marker, when I click on this marker, I'll just set this variable as false. Yeah, so I've clicked on this. It has just made other marker as hidden, and we can have more actions, like maybe like we can just toggle it rather than setting that as false. I'll just set as show my location and negate. So it will just toggle the value. If it is true, it will just set it false, or if it is false, it will set it as true. Yeah.
So then maybe mine is just a layout issue because it, as you
Possible.
demonstrated, it's quite simple in premise.
Yeah, it can be an issue. If you are using the same logic, it should work ideally.
Okay, thank you so much for demonstrating it.
You're
At first, I
welcome.
thought it was a bug, but I guess it's always me.
No worries.
No. Linda had a question.
Yeah, as I'm just looking here, I do have one question maybe you can help me with. I'm sorry, it's going to be a very rudimentary question here, most likely. But you can see this dating app here. When I go to edit my profile, it gives me the option to add photos. Can I add video? And if so, how can I do that? If there's a video clip, I want it on my profile here.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can do that. You have to add action, open image picker, or you can use that using open camera action. That gives you option to add photos as well as videos. So yeah, you have to go to the fourth tab.
The which tab? Sorry.
The fourth at
The
the right.
fourth tab at the right panel. Yeah.
The right panel.
Yeah, the fourth tab.
So we have style tab, which is the first tab. You have to go to the fourth menu. Yeah.
Oh, the fourth.
Right.
No, from the
To the
top.
Fourth.
Not sorry. I mean, you are now at Styles tab under Touchable at the
Yeah.
right. So there are 3 more buttons, tabs. Yes.
Yes,
The
the
second
second.
one.
It looks like the magic wand, I think. Am I
Yes.
describing
Yeah,
it correctly?
the magic.
Oh,
This
here.
is third one. You can click on fourth one. This is third. Yes,
Okay.
correct. And here you can just click on press and you can add that action to add image or videos. So, oh yeah, we're already using the image picker. Can you click on that? Yes.
This one. Click this.
Yes, correct. And if you see, there is a option media types. So it lets you configure whether user can only select images or videos or
Yeah.
both.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
And then one more quick question. How do I get out of this? If
Just
in my profile,
Hmm.
this photo here, I'm sure this is such an easy question. I apologize. How do I just make his picture only a small square? Like, how do I edit the UI easily? The UI. It seems a little bit like I'm missing something here. Which tab?
uh, yeah, right now the component being used is image background,
Yeah.
and all of the components are within that image. So if you try to change the size, it will mess up the other component layouts as well. But we have other component which is just image. So you can add that component and you can change the dimension from the first tab of styling.
From the okay, so then I would
Yes.
just
Yeah, scroll a little bit. Scroll to down. Yes, here you can see size. We have width and height. So you can control the dimensions from here.
oh, I see. Okay, so if I want to
And you
make
can
that
do that in the percentage or pixels as well. Right now you are just setting the percentage. So yeah, it will just alter, take half of the width of.
oh, but it takes the whole thing.
Yeah, because all the components are nested in this image background component. You can take other image component and try adding that with
Oh,
your required size.
okay. I don't want to waste your time. This is something that I'm sure I can
Sorry.
learn online. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I think we can continue with other questions we have. So that's actually another great topic we have in the line. It's about setting OTP verification, one-time password. So it's a key feature for keeping apps secure, as you all know. So Arvind, could you outline the best practices for implementing OTP verification in Draftbit? What are the steps that we should follow?
Sure. I'll just share my screen again to showcase that using a demo. Okay. I'll just give you a quick overview what we are doing to achieve here. So in this app, we want to have additional verification of the app. So for example, if user has logged in the past, we don't ask user to log in every time they launch the app. That's the standard practice. But we want to add additional layer of security. So even if user has logged in earlier, if they launch the app again, we will ask for a OTP. So nobody can just take the phone and launch the app and see their details in the app. What we are doing here is, let me just go here. Okay, so this is our login screen, and once we launch the app, we are checking if user has already logged in the past or not. We are doing that using checking the saved token locally. So if that token is available, we are checking for the validity of the token by hitting the backend endpoint to get the user details based on that token. If we get the details of the user, like I'm just checking for the ID of user from the response, then I'm just navigating user to a screen, a OTP screen, and triggering a OTP to be sent in to the user's email or user's phone number. And once they enter the correct OTP and confirm, they will be navigated to home screen. Otherwise, they will just see whatever the error message is, like invalid OTP or whatever. So let's try to do that. I'm just logging in with my sample account. So right now it says invalid credential. I'll just type in my correct password here. And you see, for the first time, I am in the app now. It has validated successfully. But for the next time, if I launch the app, it will open the login screen and it will navigate me to the OTP screen. Because I was already logged in, I don't have to enter my credentials again, but I have to enter the OTP which I have received just now when I launched the app. So I'll just go to the database for now and get that. So it's 4395. I'll just enter the incorrect for first time. It will not validate. And when I click the correct one and click confirm, it will let me in the app. So the flow is very simple. I'm navigating user to OTP screen, and on OTP screen, I am triggering send OTP endpoint, and we have to enter the received OTP, and on confirm, I'm hitting another endpoint, which is to verify if the OTP entered was correct or not. If the OTP entered was correct, we'll just navigate user to the home screen. So that's how we can add another layer of security on the user app. Was that helpful?
Yes, the steps in Draftbit is quite clear for me now. But what are the, I mean, at high level, what are the required steps in the backend side? So I see that you're creating some endpoints for sending OTP and for verifying the OTP. Thank you, Sean, for joining.
Sure, Ramisa. So right now I've used a Xano to create this sample. I'll just walk through, the logic I've added in the Xano, but that can be replicated in any other backend like Superbase or any custom backend. Let me just share my screen to show the Xano endpoints.
Great. Thank you.
All right, so this is a table I have created to store the user OTP, and these are the two endpoints. So once user is navigated to the send OTP screen, we are generating a OTP. So basically that's how it's done. I am generating a random number starting from 1000 and maximum value is 9999. So it will just generate any random number and I'll just store that number in my database. And also it will be sent to the user's phone number or email based on what service we are integrating here. So right now this was just for demo, so we don't have any third-party service available to be integrated. We can use Twilio, SendGrid, or any other preferred service. And once we have created the OTP and stored that in database, there's a second service which is to verify the OTP. So when user entered the received OTP and they trigger confirm action, and this API will be called, which is to verify OTP. And here we are fetching the user record from the backend and checking if the entered OTP from the user OTP table is correct, what is being entered by user. Then we'll just return a variable with value true, variable verified equal to true. Otherwise, it will just return verified equal to false. And in front end, we are just checking the value of this verified variable. If it is true, we will just navigate user to the desired screen. Otherwise, we will just show the error message on the screen that, hey, you have entered incorrect OTP or whatever. So this is very straightforward.
Yes, thank you. I think Amit covered some SendGrid and other services in Reset Password office hours.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I look forward to learning more about Draftbit and having
you.
more questions for you next time.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, we have just a couple of questions left, Arvind. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So we have a request actually regarding showing the difference between set variable action and declare variable action.
Okay, yeah, sure. I have created a very short demo within the sample app for that as well. I'm just sharing my screen again. Let me know once you can see that.
I can see that. Thanks.
All right, so I have added one sample object which will be ideally returned from any endpoint, and I have printed that for reference. Let me just go again and come on the screen. Okay, so you can see this is the object sample response for any endpoint. We have two objects, coffee and brewing. In coffee, we have again region and country objects. And in both objects, we have multiple values. And idea here is like we want to check uh, the value of the second object, the name of region under coffee. And how we can do it, we have two ways. So first way is we will just write sample data and we'll reach to that particular keyword or object to read the value like this: sample data dot coffee dot region first object and dot name. If that is equal to done, then perform some action. And the second way of doing that is I'll just declare a variable whose scope is limited to that particular action chain. So I've just extracted this value, the same value, and stored that under a variable which is name value first object. I've named it as name value first object. And in subsequent action items, if I have to use this value, I'll just reference this variable directly rather than doing this complete, traversing of hierarchy of that object. And that makes my job very simple. So yeah, if we have to use any value which is quite deep nested in an object response or object, we can use declare variable. And if we have to use extracted value in the app in anywhere screen, we have to use set variable, because declare variable will not be in scope once this action chain is over.
So do you mean if and else action chain?
Not if and else x. So where have you declared? So you have declared this variable here. So this is kind of one action chain. And once you go out of this, for example, if you just close this and all the actions are performed, then you don't have access to that declared variable.
Yes.
That was just limited to this action editor or action chain. But the purpose of doing that was don't have to do this traversing of this to get this value every time. If I have to check this value multiple times in if and else or any other logic, so I have to write this complete thing. And there are chances that I can do a typo while typing any value or any name of object or key. So yeah, it's straightforward. Just get the value saved and use it for this action chain.
I understand. So because in a if and else in the other action chain, I mean if and else branch, that wasn't the case, right? You need to
Yes, in other, I have to do the complete traversing. So you see, I have to get this value. I had to write sample data dot coffee dot reason first object dot name, and then I can use it.
Yeah. In the other one, you're just referencing the result name of the declared.
I've just extracted that value by declaring a variable. I've saved that value. Now, in all the action, like I have like 10 or 20 conditions or actions, I can just reference this declared variable. I don't have to do the complete traversing of the object to get the value.
Okay. All right. That's great. Thank you. It's good to know. And the other question was about range filter, how to create a range filter in Draftbit. There was a question about it in community. Someone tried to make a range filter using our slider component. So what do you suggest?
Yeah, sure. There are multiple ways to achieve that. I saw like Dev has suggested a few of them already, but let's do it. Like I'll just showcase first using checkbox, which is one of the option Dev has suggested. So we can just create groups of range and let users select any range, and that will be triggered or saved and like that will be saved locally, and that will be sent to the backend once we hit the endpoint, and the backend can take care of the filtering of any records based on the selected range. So that's the one way. I'm using the checkboxes here, the under list component, so I can get all the available range groups from the backend, show it in the front end, and let user select one of them and send back that as a filter to backend to return the filtered objects or filtered records. Right. So this is very straightforward. The second one is again, this is also one of the options suggested by Dev. So we can use two input boxes, let user enter the minimum or maximum or from to up to value. For example, I want to filter out all the products which have prices between 1000 and 2000. So user can just write these values, input these values, and send that to backend along with the endpoint. Right. So this is also very quite straightforward. Yes, Ramisa.
No, I was just saying, yeah, that's another option.
Yeah. Then there is another option which is suggested was slider. So we can use multiple sliders. So first slider will be acting as the from option, and second slider value we can consider as maximum value or up to option, and user can set these values as per the required filtration, and we can use these selected values to get the filtered records from the backend. So all these options does not require any custom coding or any custom component. And the last option, which required the custom code and packages, is this. We can have a single slider and let user select the minimum and maximum value, but by using these two thumbs. This is very user friendly, but for implementing this, we have to do the custom programming. I have added one package to implement that, which is a React Native slider. So yeah, this is the fourth option we can use to implement the slide range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for demonstrating all of the options, Arvind. That was great.
All right.
Okay, and the last question is about, I think, checkbox functionality. Just a minute, I just don't remember. Let me check.
Sure.
So he was saying checking the box selected the entire group. So I believe they have a list of items that includes checkbox. And when checking the one item, it just selects the entire group.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So we don't have any demo implemented for that, but I'll just give you the way to handle that. So we have to maintain an object in which, for example, we are getting again like let's consider using this check boxes for showcase the ranges. So yeah, for this we have to maintain one object in which we will be having this value of showing the ranges, and we will have the ID. And the third variable we can have is like is checked, And by default, we can set is checked equal to false for all of the option. And when user click any of the one, we will just trigger a function, custom function, which will replace is checked uh, to be replaced with false. Sorry, it was false. It will make that as true. And then once that list is re-rendered, it will show that particular checkbox as checked and other all are unchecked. And we have to keep that local copy. And we can keep on updating based on user selection. So whenever user click on any checkbox, we'll just replace all the is selected or is checked with false, and we'll just set is checked equal to true for the clicked item. So yeah, this will require a small custom function to be written.
I understand. Thank you. Welcome, Ray.
Hello, Ray.
Yes, please. Do you have a question, Ray? You can directly ask it to Arvind.
You are on mute, Ray.
Only meant to wave. Okay, keen to learn. All right, thank you. Actually, we were about to wrap up the session, unfortunately, Ray, but these sessions are recorded, so you can find recordings in our YouTube channel. I don't know, we have any other questions left, Arvind? Did we?
Yeah, I see the second part of this question. You mentioned like user has mentioned that they want to conditionally display the submit button or view. So again, that's very straightforward. We will be just checking the is checked value, iterate through the array, and we'll check like if there is any is checked value set to false, we'll just hide the submit button. Otherwise, we will be showing that button so user can click and perform the required action. Yeah, so that's again straightforward.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Arvind.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think, yes, Ray doesn't have any questions for us. Thank you, Ray. Thank you for joining. And for a quick reminder, we have a submission form for the questions you have. If you want if you want experts to answer your questions or troubleshoot your apps, your specific issues, you can just submit your questions in that form beforehand, so that we can answer and prioritize your questions during the session. But of course, you can join anytime to office hours and ask your random questions there too. And that's all. Thank you, Arvind, for this great session, for all of the insights you provided and answering the queries.
Thank you for having me here.
That was great. That was a pleasure. See you in the next office hours session. Bye.
Sure. Bye-bye.